something that you didn't look at quite that way before.
Right, but and to me that's part of a divide as well. Like everything you're talking about, and that's where I was going with the whole awakening and being awake for a difference. It's just I guess the bottom line is I keep trying to ask people, what are we going to do when the power goes out? Because we're not going to be able to chat and we're not going to be able to watch YouTube videos anymore. And I guess that's where I'm at, is I'm trying to learn a few things, and start, looking around me, making sure I'm in the right area, making sure I have a constitutionalist sheriff, things like that. And that's what I think people need to start doing they need to start concentrating, on what's in front of them and their family and who's around them.
Well, and to that end, that I think that maybe we focus a little bit too much on our constitutional sheriffs, worrying about if they're constitutional or not. We shouldn't worry necessarily about if they're constitutional or not. We should make sure that they're constitutional. And
yeah, good point.
Power goes out and everything goes to heck. Say, China invades us. My opinion, the best prepping you can do isn't, putting rice in a bucket and putting beans in a bucket. The best prepping you can do is get to know your neighbors, get to know your community.
Yep.
Because when stuff hits the fan, those people are the people who are in it with you, and those are the people that you need to know so that you can work together. Because I can't at least personally hold off 10 men, probably. I can even hold off 10 men. But if my community was backing me, when those same 10 men came to my house to say, steal my guns or whatever it is, if my neighbors know what's going on, then when they do come to do that, then my neighbors are going to get involved, and it's going to be like a Bundy Ranch thing where they're afraid of losing their lives, so they'll back down. It's our community that we really need to get involved in, and share knowledge as much as we can, but do that with people in your own community. Talk to the person at the grocery store. I talk a lot, so it's easy for me, but talk to everybody, and especially the people that don't disagree with you. Don't get mad. Don't yell at them. Don't tell them that they're stupid and that they're ignorant, that they're always going to be slaves. Ignorant, I use that word a lot, but I mean it by the definition. They don't know. Those people are the ones you need to educate the most. Someone who agrees with you, yeah, it may be a good conversation. You may learn something from it, and you may teach them something that they didn't know. But the people we really need to be educating is the people who don't know, the people who pretend as if everything's okay and the government would never hurt us, that they would never do a gun grab, even though you can show them. And a lot of times, I like people to disagree with me and try to prove me wrong. My in-laws, they argue a bit about it. And I get along with my in-laws quite a bit. But when I show them facts, show them they did a gun grab. Haven't you seen what they did in New Orleans? And, well, no, what they did, they put them in that stadium. That's all I thought happened, too. Because you got to educate yourself. You can't leave it to other people. I think that, honestly, and me included, that we've become complacent and only worried about our own little world, and we don't understand, or maybe we do understand and we just don't want to understand what's going on in the world as a whole, because everything affects everybody, and everybody needs to take on their own responsibility. And if we get enough people just taking on their own responsibility, then pretty soon the government, what can they do? I mean, if nobody's supporting them, if everybody decided, hey, there's no law that says you have to pay income tax. And plenty of IRS agents have come out and said that. What if everybody just stopped giving the money? The money's just given away to other countries anyways, if you do the investigations and the numbers.
Well, that's what I keep saying is, we need to, the only way to stop the whole machine is with peaceful civil disobedience. But like you just said, the problem is everyone has their own paradigms that has been painted for them already, and that's through the mind control, whatever TV, to where everyone has their own little thing they want to do, whether it's fantasy football, going to football games, watching NASCAR, everyone's got their own little paradigms, and that's the holdup. Like you're just saying. And you're talking, like when you're talking about if people themselves would just do something, that's like, I've been reading the Constitution of the United States and reading quotes, and that reminded me of a James Madison quote where he had said, a well-instructed people alone can be permanently a free people. And that's another thing is notice how they talked back then. They say terms, we the people. Now it's me, selfie, selfie, selfie.
Yeah, exactly. And when we face challenges, which I have, dealing with the system in my life, when you deal with challenges, you're all alone, and you feel that because you go telling people, you try to explain to your attorney how. In one situation, I'll go into a little bit. I was taking some stuff out the dump, and on the way back, I passed a guy, and as I passed him, he sped up and hit my trailer. They're prosecuting me for careless driving.
Oh my God!
Even the cop and even the guy that was in the car, a cop that was off duty that was actually behind me, they all said he sped up to create the accident, but they still charged me with careless driving. Even though he said that I wasn't guilty of that, it was supposed to be a smaller charge, but he couldn't find the code to charge me with it.
See, and I just think that's another thing that's going on, like what you just described right there, because you're seeing and agree with me or disagree with me on this, because I don't know, and I'm just going off what I hear, but I'm serious, man. A lot of people I'm talking to throughout this country, they're all arguing, they're fighting with each other. It's like I feel like that everyone is so upset right now at, I guess we'll call them the guy petting the cat, or whatever, the elite, the globalists. But it's like we're so mad at them, the government, for what they've done to each of us individually that we can't talk to these people directly. So we're just taking it out on who's in front of us, family and friends. I'm hearing a lot of people just arguing over and even myself, I'm one of them. I'm in a few arguments right now with a couple of people that are they're nonsense. They're childish. It's like, I'm just tired of it. I'm just tired of the arguing. It's just, it's a holdup.
Well, yeah, and like YouTube, I go on YouTube and I argue with people or whatnot. And the only thing I encourage is that, yes, get out there and argue with people, but I don't like the name calling someone, an idiot or this, that, and the other. And don't get me wrong, I fall into it sometimes too.
Oh, I do too.
To educate them.
Yeah.
If you can just show your facts out, I've had people that see my comments somewhere else and they like me because of those comments. Even though they were following this guy who's saying that this is all fake and that, it's a Mormon like takeover of the world and this, that, and the other. Those people are putting out those videos, but people are commenting on there. And if you can just speak logic to them and get it to relate to them, their situation, no matter what they are, if they're an FBI agent, I don't care. If they can see the logic and they can see it pretty thin, it's pretty hard to deny. Even if they won't tell you right up front that you made sense, they will process it. And even if you're commenting on somebody who's saying that this is all a bunch of crap and it's just a ploy to get, the people who will actually stand to show up so they can arrest them, whatever. How about this? Everybody show up, like I was telling people when it was still going on. And they were calling it a psyop, and anybody goes up there's going to be arrested or taken afterwards.
Yeah, there's another holdup.
Yeah, I would blow that out of the water and say, hey,
yeah,
no, that's not true. I was up there, and I came back. I haven't been arrested, and I actually had to turn myself in on a warrant because I went up there and I missed a court date because I felt that was more important than a stupid court date that I'm not even guilty of the crime anyways. But anyways, law enforcement had me in jail. They had control of me and they let me go. People will get mad about that and, say that I'm an FBI informant and that I'm part of the problem. I don't care. That's all right. Consider me part of the problem. Now, how are you going to fix me then? Fix me. Because if I'm part of the problem, it's your responsibility to teach me. If I refuse to listen, then that's on me. But if you refuse to educate and, to through kindness and understanding, teach me that I'm wrong, then it's not my responsibility. You shouldn't be mad at me because I didn't hear what you had to say because I couldn't hear it through all the name calling and the accusations you're making at me. That's fine. I don't care about being called a Fed. Actually, I think I'm in pretty good company. They're saying that Ammon's a Fed, that Pete's a Fed, and I'll tell you, Pete's a Fed. He's about the worst one I've ever seen.
Well, that's just unbelievable what's happening to him. I just, I still wake up just, I don't know. It's just, you were out there too, so you know, it's just, it is. And I think Deb said it yesterday too, that I can't even imagine being in her shoes just when you're in the courtroom and you just see these guys. You see them all standing there and it's just, wow. They're really in there, you know, and this isn't a joke. This isn't a game. These are people's lives here. And I look at Lavoy Finicum's book here too. You know, the title of his book is Only by Blood and Suffering. And I just feel like maybe Lavoy was the blood part of it. And now here's the suffering part that we're going through.
Well, and I think people got to understand, I'm not saying that they specifically sought out Lavoy to purposely kill him. My opinion on it is that they were ready to kill anybody if they had any opportunity. If there was anything that they could possibly do, then they would. And Lavoy, I would think, would be higher on their thing because people can demonize the Bundys. They can say that they're after some agenda or something, which is, in my opinion, crap too. But they can say that. But with Lavoy, he has no criminal history. Never even had a ticket. So it's hard to, discredit him. Me, they just pull up my record and they go, look at this, look at this, look at this. You know, this guy's a criminal because he's been charged with this many crimes. Okay, so what do you have to say about Lavoy? And all these people, these evil people, as far as I'm concerned, saying that, you know, he's a demon and he's this and he's that, and they never even met the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if we were up there at the same time, but I pretty much always wear my same flannel. It's kind of a tan, brown flannel, long hair. Always always wearing my hat, the Second Amendment hat. I was in a white truck, four-door truck with flags in the back.
Oh, I seen your truck. Okay.
Yeah, most people have seen the truck. I tried to hide out, especially from the media.
You were at the were you at the funeral too?
Yes.
Okay, I thought weren't you were parked up on the side when they were coming out, I think. I saw your truck and you were playing the music too?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the Freedom's Cry.
Yeah, a bunch of different stuff that I thought.
Okay, yeah, I saw you there. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and see, when people look at me, a lot of times they think I'm either a druggie or that, you know, I'm a user somehow, one way or the other. When they look at me, they don't see me, they see what I look like. Lavoy, the first time I met him, he walked into that chow hall, and he, almost made it a point to come up to me and shake my hand and ask me about my concerns. If there was anything that I had heard of that he should address. I mentioned my wife's registered Cherokee. My mother-in-law is, and they don't follow the traditions as far as spiritually of the Cherokee, but their family is in Oklahoma. I mean, almost her entire family is in Oklahoma. They have very good ties to their native heritage, the artifacts. So I told him that I got some heat because of that. And that night, I think it was, he did that video. Lavoy was all about trying to soothe people, trying to make people understand. He wasn't forceful. He didn't push you into believing it, believe this or else. He guided you into seeing it,
Well, that was the whole, that's when we were just talking, you were talking earlier about how to talk to people, I was a victim to that too, of how I used to talk to people, and it's all we can do is learn from our mistakes and move on. But you're right, and that's one thing I've learned is to stop yelling at people, and because it's frustrating when it's like this stuff is right in front of our faces and we're still waving flags to NFL games. But I do agree that we can't get frustrated because that's what they want and they're winning by that. And I started realizing, people like you, me, Shuff, GM and Ken, these guys, we all know what's going on and we all have the knowledge. And maybe that's why we know these things, is because we need to teach it to people. I didn't know the Constitution of the United States, and now I'm starting to realize the whole message here. Like we said earlier, this is not